Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today it is time to try on all 4 of the new Patrick Ta blush duos. We have 4 new shades. I picked these up. I got lucky and I got them fast. So we're gonna be doing a try on today. I'm gonna do some comparisons. I know some of these look similar to some other shades in his line. You guys know how much I love this product, so I am just really excited to test these out. So if you're new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe. If you're excited about these blushes, give this video a thumbs up. Of course, I will link these down below and on the screen, and let's go ahead and get into trying out the new Patrick Ta blush shades. All right, so as always, I want to talk about the price and everything involved in picking these up before we get into the demo. So these are the Major Headlines Double Take Cream and Powder Blush Duos from Patrick Ta. We have 4 new shades, and he has a lot of different colors now. I'm really happy to see him expanding, but I do have some thoughts on the new shades. So these are available now on his website and also at Sephora. I will link both down below. They retail for $38, and this is a really interesting product because most of the creams that you see on the market, they are marketed to go on before powder, but Patrick Ta actually suggests that you put the powder on first and then you put the cream on top. And there is just something magical about this formula where it just brings the powder to life. So I am excited to try these new shades. So 4 new shades. The red one is speaking to me. So let's go ahead and start with this one. Now this is called She Left Me on Red. So we do have the standard rose gold packaging, and then inside you have a cream blush and then a powder blush to match. Now the cream does have a flap, so that keeps it from getting into the powder and the powder getting into it. So the cream is definitely a balmy feel, and I'm actually surprised that I like the creams because I typically don't like a balmy type feel. And then the powder is extremely pigmented. So I'm actually gonna swatch it on the inside of my hand, but you can see here that you're really getting most of your punch from the powder side, and then the cream side just really kind of brings your cheeks to life. I don't know how else to describe it, but that's how this formula works for me. So this is the first shade called She Left Me on Red, and this was the one I was most excited about. Next we have the shade She Goes to the Gym. Now this one definitely is kind of like a pinky mauve leaning berry. It definitely has that like mauvey tone to it. And again, you get a ton of pigment in the powder side, but the creams, I think there's kind of varying levels of pigment because the red seemed much more sheer than this shade in terms of pigmentation. But it also looks like this powder side definitely has some sort of like satin finish. So this one is She Goes to the Gym. The third shade in this expansion is She Knows Who She Is. Now this one definitely has some depth to it. It has almost like this bronzy berry tone to it. Really beautiful. This is a little bit intimidating for my skin tone, but the models looked so gorgeous in this. So I think that I'm gonna have to use some fluffier brushes and a light hand. I mean, this is rich, but I'm also really happy to see that he is coming out with some deeper tones. Oh my gosh, wow. I will say that I would have liked to see some different undertones. Like I was expecting or excited for maybe like a lilac or maybe a purple or like a terracotta really rich or an orange, something a little bit different. I know that Patrick Ta does like to stick to a lot of like the neutral berries and mauves and nudes, and I would like to see a little bit more from him, but I can't really judge until I get them on the skin. This one is gorgeous though, so really intrigued to try this. And the final shade is the one I think most people are going to be interested in, and this is called She's Seductive. This one is the one that I feel like looks similar to some other shades that he's released, so I definitely will do comparisons, but this is a really pretty like nude with a little bit of pink to it. This shade I feel like is just going to be a favorite because a lot of people really like a natural cheek. I'm gonna be honest, that's not me. I do like a really intense cheek. It's like one of my favorite things when I'm doing my makeup is how bright can I make my blush, but I do recognize that not everybody feels that way. So I'm just sort of building it up. This is just a lighter shade in nature, so I had to kind of build up the powder side. But this one is the lightest of the collection, the most neutral, I would say, as well. And this one is She's Seductive. Now, in terms of comparisons, I know a lot of people wanted to see these two compared. This is the new She's Seductive, and this is the Not Too Much. Definitely looks like the cream in here is very similar, but the actual powder, this one looks much more like pink, and then this one is lighter, but I definitely think they are similar. I am going to put some other swatches on the screen, just comparing these new shades to some of my other Patrick Ta blushes, but I want to start out applying these. I'm gonna zoom you in a little bit more, and what I'm gonna do is just do one side of my cheek, show you what it looks like, and then remove it, do it again, remove it, do it again, and then the final time I will do both cheeks. So let's go ahead and zoom in and start trying these on. All right, so I've got you zoomed in, and I want to start off with the lightest shade just because I want to work up to the red shade. I will say that a couple months ago, I started having some patchiness with powder, bronzers, and blushes, and I don't know why, but I switched over to not shaving my face anymore for a while because I feel like the stubble was kind of messing up just how my products adhered to my cheeks. But I also just have been using creams, which is a totally different thing for me. But today, because I'm using the powder, I did use just a foundation set with powder and then a powder bronzer. And I still feel like I have a little bit of patchiness. It seems to be like this is my problem area. I don't know what it is because I've tried to do, you know, like super exfoliating products. I've tried moisturizers. I've tried everything. So hopefully that doesn't make this patch because I just have been struggling lately. But I'm going to start off with this powder side of the blush. I'm going to use a Rephr 05, and I'm just going to saturate my brush and then tap off and start applying to the cheeks. Okay, so you can see you already have a little bit of a glow. Again, I did powder my face, so it might need a little bit more building up than if you're somebody that doesn't use powder. But I'm just going to build this up. Yeah, I feel like lately there's something weird going on like right here on my face, so I just don't want the product to be blamed because I've had issues. I'm gonna go in for a third build up. It gives a really pretty glow, but it's very, very natural. So if you're looking head on, this is what it looks like. And then I wanna go in next with the cream side. So I'm just gonna be using different brushes because I want a clean brush for everything. So I'm actually just gonna take an e.l.f. foundation brush and really coat the bristles. And then I am going to use the palm of my hand to evenly distribute and press this right on top. Ooh. See what I mean? Like it just brings the blush to life. It's just such a beautiful formula. I'm gonna add a little bit more even though I know I'm gonna get carried away. That's just how I am in these videos. This is so pretty and you definitely can see that glow. I feel like the powder side in here is definitely buildable. It'd be really, really nice for fair skin tones, light skin tones. And then the cream I don't find was overly crazy as well, but it really punched up the blush. Both have a really soft sort of glow to them. Some of these other shades, and I've seen some shades from him where the powders are matte, but this one definitely had a luminosity in both sides. So really, really think this is beautiful. I think a lot of people are really going to like this. So this one is She's Seductive and it is so pretty. All right, so I went ahead and redid my makeup on this side. It doesn't look absolutely perfect, but you know, it's the nature of the beast. So I wanna go in next with She Goes to the Gym. So I'm gonna start out with the powder side, and I'm gonna be using a Morphe Aerial A3.2. So this one definitely looks more punchy. So I am just going to make sure that I'm tapping off my brush and starting to apply. So it actually is quite soft if you want it to be. I'm going to Ooh, that's pretty. Build this up. You know what? I don't know what it is. Something about blush just like does it for me. Not just on me, like everyone. More is more when it comes to blush. But I want to go in next to the cream, and I'm going to be using a PC08. This is from Peaches and Cream. People ask me about these. You can only get these from the UK, and I purchased them a while ago. So I'm just going to dip in to the cream side. I really want to make sure to kind of blend this on the palm of my hand and start applying. I'm wondering if I'm seeing a little bit, of lifting, which is not something I normally deal with his formula. Something weird is like going on with my skin. It is driving me insane. But I'm just going to soften this because that is a really punchy shade. I think I went way overboard, but I do just want to show you what you can do. And this is honestly still using a light hand. So obviously I wouldn't wear it this intensely, but this one is She Goes to the Gym. All right, so I went ahead and redid my base, and I want to go into the third shade. This is She Knows Who She Is. It's super rich and deep. So I'm going to be using a Royal and Langnickel BOM 36, starting out with the powder side. And I'm actually going to use my palm just to distribute it because this is not meant for my skin tone. So I really want to use a light hand. So this is one layer. I'm just gonna add a smidge more. And I don't want to go too far just because I definitely feel like this could get really out of hand with my skin tone, but I think it's going to be really pretty if you have like a rich, tan, deep skin tone. So I want to go in next with the cream side, and I'm going to be using a BK Beauty 112. I'm going to dip into the blush, and then I'm going to use my hand to really kind of soften this. And I want to use this small brush just because I want to make sure that I apply this in the targeted area. Okay, I have to be honest. That's looking patchy, so I'm not sure what that's about. So I'm just trying to soften a little bit, but honestly, I don't know. Maybe it is just this shade is just way too deep for my skin tone, which is totally fine. If you really are careful and you're not having like patchy issues like me, you might get on with it. And I'm gonna have to try it again. I mean, I am kind of removing my makeup, replacing it quickly, and then going to the next shade. I'm envisioning this on, like I said, like tan, deep skin tones. I mean, this on the models looked phenomenal. Okay, so let's get into the shade I'm most excited about, which is She Left Me on Red. This one is pigmented. So I'm gonna use a Lunar Beauty LBF4. I'm gonna dip into the blush. I mean, holy crap. I'm going to tap off, and then I'm going to kind of swirl into my hand just because this is really pigmented. I'm gonna start applying just lightly, and I'm getting that patching. I'm gonna try this Makeup by Mario F2 brush, the fluffier side. I honestly feel like it's my skin. I do not know what is wrong with my skin, but lately, like, powder products do not blend on my skin. They like grab to certain hairs. And this one is like really doing that. Okay, so I'm gonna try a brand new brush. My face is starting to literally hurt, by the way. With a fluffy brush, and just lightly set everything down. Even there, like, I'm noticing just like patching. Okay, so let's try this again. I'm gonna use the Sonia G Face Pro. This is a really big brush. Dipping into this blush, tapping off, and then okay, dipping in again, tapping off. And I'm trying to use like the lightest pressure possible. So I feel like that's better, but I'm still seeing a little bit of that grabbing there. I think it honestly, you guys, I think it's my skin. I don't know if like my hormones are changing. I don't know if I'm like in early, what is it, like perimenopause or something. My skin's changing, things are changing. That looks way better though, like way better. I wish I had done that on this side too. I still don't feel like it's sitting on my skin correctly, but you know, but I do feel like it looks better, not perfect, but definitely a fluffy brush. Like the fluffier, the better. If you think you have a fluffy brush, go fluffier if you're in my skin tone. So now let's go into the cream side. I'm gonna be very careful. I'm just gonna use the same e.l.f. brush that I used for the other shades. It's hard because I wanna make sure that I have the pigment on here evenly, but I don't want to go overboard. Stippling. I do think that this is workable. You just may have to really hone in on what tools work best with this. So this is what the red shade looks like. I actually think it's really beautiful. Despite all of my struggles, this is stunning. I think I like the cream side more. It ended up turning out better than anticipated given all of my issues. And I know that it's a lot, but I really wanted to show you guys what you can do pigment wise. All right, guys, so now that we've tried on all 4 shades, I want to give you my initial first impression. I definitely am a little bit frustrated with how today's demo went. I have not had that experience with Patrick Ta blushes before, so I don't know if there was a formula change or if it's just my skin. Also, it happened with the shades that are just way too deep for my skin tone, so that could just be it as well, but I'm sorry that I couldn't give you like a perfect, flawless application. My cheek is like on fire from removing and putting back the foundation, removing again. So I did my best, but I do think that shockingly, the standout to me has to be She's Seductive. Now, again, it goes best with my skin tone. It is beautiful. I like that it's subtle, but you can build it up. So for someone like me that likes a little bit of punch, I really could build it up and get that really beautiful, almost like a mauve-y sort of glow. So this is definitely a standout to me. I shockingly don't really like She Goes to the Gym. I feel like this leans a little bit bruise-like on my skin. Again, just my skin tone. It has some sort of like undertone that makes me look like I got punched in the face a little bit. I'm gonna have to watch my footage back. This was a rough try on, but that's just my initial first impression. And then I do really like the glow and like the neonness of this red blush. I think I'm going to have to really figure out how to apply this because I struggled obviously today, but honestly, I might just reach for the cream more than the powder because this is so pigmented. I really don't need both. So I am happy to see that there are some deeper shades. I mean, 2 of these shades are extremely rich and deep, so I think a lot of people are gonna look gorgeous in them. There's just a learning curve for me, so I will be playing around with them. But I would love to know what you guys think about these shades. Did you pick them up? Have you tried them yet? I always love chatting in the comments, but hopefully this video was helpful nonetheless, even with all of the struggles along the way. So everything will be linked down below, including the rest of my makeup. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, even though it was a little bit of a train wreck. Sometimes that's just how it goes. If you're new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe. And if you did enjoy this video, give this video a thumbs up. I feel bad asking for that after this tragedy of a video, but you know what? It's my job. If you did find it helpful or you're just excited about this launch, give this video a thumbs up. As always, thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.